Alrighty, as promised, I am back and I am going to go over the coordinate plane. But before I go into the coordinate plane, I want to show you guys what a coordinate plane is even made up of. Because we just learned about both of the elements of coordinate plane, okay? So we learned about vertical number lines and we learned about horizontal number lines. A vertical number line is any number line going... That is not a straight line. Holy... Wow. I'm gonna try better this time. Try better. Try harder. A vertical number line is any number line that is going up and down, right? And we also have, I was going to go on more, but then I decided that I'm gonna go a different direction here. A horizontal number line is any number line going across. All a coordinate plane is a vertical number line and a horizontal number line put together, okay? When I am labeling a coordinate grid, which you may or may not have to do, you will have to do it in class, in terms of like testing and things like that. I'm not sure if you're going to have to, but we're going to get in the habit of it just in case, because you will have to do it in class, okay? This right here is the center of my coordinate. It's where my two vertices essentially meet. It's where my why can't I use words right? It's where my vertical number line and my horizontal number line meet. When we are talking about coordinate planes, we no longer just call these number lines. We call these axes, okay? This is my y-axis, and this is my x-axis, okay? That's just something you're really going to need to memorize. The place where they meet is what we call the origin. The origin is right smack dab in the center, and like I told you guys in the last video, the center of a vertical number line is 0. The center of a horizontal number line is also 0. So the origin is really just 0, 0. In order to set up a number line, or a coordinate plane, I literally just label these like I would normally label them. So I'm going to erase this just because I need the space right now, but we'll get back to that. The point, or the numbers that are going above 0 are positive numbers. The numbers that are going below 0 on my vertical number line are negative numbers, so that would be -1, -2, etc. The numbers to the right are positive. 1, 2. And the numbers to the left are negative. So it's just like what we know about a vertical number line and a horizontal number line. We're just sticking them together. I'm going to fill out the rest of this, and then I'm going to come back. Okay, my number line is filled in. It is not the most beautiful number line I've ever seen in my life, but bear with me here. I do not have my origin labeled. You typically will not see an origin labeled, but just know that that section where they meet, that point where they meet is always 0, 0. Okay, so when we're talking about coordinate planes, they're always going to give us two numbers. They're going to give us one number that we have to plot on the horizontal axis, or my x-axis, and then they're going to give me one number that I have to plot on my y-axis, which is my vertical axis. They're going to give them to us in a very specific order. So what you will see it as is two numbers, and they will be in the order x, y. So what that means is that when they give us numbers, the first thing I'm going to plot is on my x-axis, and then after I finish my x-axis, I am going to go on to my y-axis. The way that I remember how to plot things is that I always start at home. My origin is my home. That's my home base. That's where I'm starting out at. I'm always at 0. This is where I'm always going to start counting from. The first action I'm going to do is I'm going to walk somewhere. My x is really just walking somewhere. After I get to my destination that I'm walking to, then I'm going to take my elevator somewhere. An elevator, you can take either up or you can take down. I would take it up to go to positive numbers, and I would take it down to go to negative numbers. Walking, I can walk either right or left. So how this would actually look in a problem is you would be given two numbers, and it would say something like 2, 3. Okay? 2, 3. I'm going to do these in different colors. That's a terrible first color because it kind of looks like black. But how I would solve this, I would start at my home, I would start at my origin, and then I'm going to walk. And I'm going to see, where is 2? Well, I know it's a +2, and those are negative, so I'm not going to go there. I'm going to walk to +2, And then I'm going to take my elevator somewhere. My second number is my elevator floor, essentially, is how I think about it. And I'm thinking, okay, positive numbers are up and negative numbers are down. That's a positive 3. So really, I just walk to 2 and then up to 3 and see where those two would meet. This is the point 2, 3. Now, I may also get a number or a coordinate that has negatives in it, and we can do that too. It's still going to be the same actions. I'm still just going to walk first, and then I'm going to take my elevator afterwards. So I'm going to write it right here. So let's say my next coordinate is -5, 6. So I'm still starting at home. I'm still starting at my home base. But now I have to walk to -5. And I know if I'm walking, that means I'm staying on this x-axis first because I'm just walking. I'm not hopping. I'm not taking an elevator yet or anything like that. I'm just walking somewhere. And I'm going to see, where do I go to walk to -5? If I'm walking to -5, I know my negatives are to the left. So I'm going to walk to -5. And then I'm going to pause and then see, where am I going to take my elevator to? I'm taking my elevator to the 6th floor, +6. So that means I'm going up. So I'm going to find where -5 and +6 meet. More often than not, you're going to have coordinate or graph paper that will have lines in it. That makes it a heck of a lot easier to graph. I don't have a giant graph paper, which is why I'm using a whiteboard. So this point right here is -5, 6. It's essentially this part, this point, that was a weird way of saying that, this point that -5 on the x-axis and 6 on the y-axis meet. Now, I may also just get a coordinate that has 2 negative numbers. So let's go with the example, go, -4, -7, okay? I'm going to start at home, like I start every time, and I am going to walk somewhere. I'm walking to -4. I know I'm staying on my x-axis because I'm walking, right? And I have to see, where is -4 on this x-axis? Okay, -4 is to the left, 4 jumps, right? And then -7. So I'm taking my elevator to the -7th floor. That means I'm going down. So that means I have to go down, and I'm going to see, where does -4 and -7 meet? And I'm going to make a dot. When I draw these lines like this, you do not have to do that. I'm just showing you so you can better visualize why I'm putting my dot there. But typically you're not going to see it with any of these dashed lines on it. I just thought it might be a little bit easier to visualize why I'm putting the points in that position. Okay, I could also, I've done a negative and then a positive, a negative, a negative, a positive, a positive. Oh, sorry, I'm going to -4, -7. Let me put that down, sorry. -4, -7. I might also get a positive and then a negative. So let's see where that ends up. So what color have I not used? Blue. Okay, so if I got a positive and then a negative, so let's say 1, -3. All right, so I'm starting at my house. I'm going to walk to 1. That kind of looks like 11. It's just where those two are meeting together. Sorry, let me make this better. That did nothing for me, but whatever. Okay, so I'm going to walk to 1, and then I'm going to take the elevator down to -3. So I am going to make a dot right there. This is where 1 and -3 meet each other. So this point is 1, -3. So, as you can see, I have 4 points and 4 different sections. When we're talking about the coordinate plane, we call these things quadrants. Quad, that root means 4, and anything quad is 4. So if you have ever ridden a quad, that's because it has 4 wheels. The quad muscle in your leg is called a quad because it consists of 4 separate muscles. All of these things, the root here means 4. Quadrant means 4. Essentially 4 separate spaces. So we have this space right here, we have this space right here, we have this space right here, and we have this space right here. All of these quadrants have their own name, essentially, or it's a number that they are assigned to. When I'm labeling the quadrants by their number, I always start with my positive. So this quadrant right here is my first quadrant. I'm going to erase this stuff because I think that it's making it hard for me to focus on anything else. This quadrant right here is quadrant number 1. When we're talking about quadrants, we write in Roman numerals. I don't expect you to know Roman numerals right now, but I do expect you to know, I guess 1 through 4 Roman numerals, just so you know. But this is quadrant 1, which is written as an I, which is really just 1, okay? This right here is quadrant 2, which is written as, kind of looks like 2 I's next to each other. This is quadrant 2. Then we go down. This is quadrant 3, which is, what do you know, 3 I's. And my last quadrant is quadrant 4, which is not 4 I's. It's actually an I and then a V. This is quadrant 4. You may see on a test, you may be given a point and then asked to find which quadrant it would be in, and they might not give you a coordinate plane. The reason that they do that is because they expect you to be able to figure out that any number that is a positive and a positive is in quadrant 1. If I'm looking at quadrant 2, I know that I always walk first, so I know I'm walking to a negative, so I know I have to start with a negative, and then this is going up, which means that my next number would have to be a positive. Let's check to make sure that that matches what we've already graphed in here. Well, that's a negative and a positive, so that works, right? This quadrant 3, if I'm starting at my origin, would be walking to the negatives and then going down an escalator or an elevator, which means I would be negative, comma, negative. I'm just writing negative marks. They kind of look like, this is supposed to be a negative and a positive symbol. It kind of looks like a funky face, but you know. And then my last quadrant, quadrant 4, if I'm starting here, I'm walking to the positives, and then I'm taking my elevator down, which means it is a positive first and then a negative. So if you're asked to, I'm trying to help you guys read that, but the glare was kind of getting it. If you guys are asked to find what quadrant a certain point or coordinate is in, that is how you'd solve it. I also like to literally just sit here and like kind of imagine it and be like, okay, if it's a negative and a positive, okay, close my eyes and imagine I'm walking. Which way am I walking? Right. Okay, now I'm walking. It's telling me to take the elevator down. Which quadrant would that be? 4. I look crazy when I'm doing that. I recognize that, but it's a strategy and it's a good strategy. So you might want to try it. Okay, now that I have like all of this stuff on my board, I've just kind of like bombarded you with so much information. I just want to give you guys the opportunity to kind of practice how you would plot a point, because there are some points that kind of get tricky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase all of this information, and I'm just going to have a blank board in front. I'm going to give you guys a point, and I want you guys to like try and like figure out where you think it would end up on your screen. And then you're going to pause, do that, find where it would be on your screen, and then press play and see if it ends up where you thought it was going to. Got it? Beautiful, wonderful. So the first point that I'm going to start off with is 5, negative 3. 5, negative 3. I'll write it up here, but I want you to pause it and see where you think I'm going to graph that. Where do you think that should be graphed? Remember, first step, walk. Second step, take your elevator. Pause. Alrighty, if I am plotting 5, negative 3, remember I'm always starting at my home. My home is in the middle at 0, 0. I am going to walk first, so I'm walking to positive 5. And then I am taking my elevator down to negative 3, because negatives are always down. So you should have had a point about right there. So if I'm drawing my little dashed lines that are absolutely optional, over to the right 5, down 3, is that where you had your point? Let's see, let's try another one. My next point I'm going to give you is 7, 2. 7, 2. My next point is 7, 2. Did you pause it? Did you find where you think it should be? If you have your finger on the screen, and then if my dot is exactly where your finger is, you could be so proud of yourself and give yourself a pat on the back. And even if it's not, you can still give yourself a pat on the back for trying. But let's go through it. 7, 2. What that means is I'm going to start at my home, and I'm going to walk 7 spaces somewhere. Okay, I'm staying on my x-axis. So I'm walking over to 7, and then I'm taking the elevator up to 2. I know it's up because it's positive. So I'm going over 7 and up 2. This is where your plot should be, right around there. Okay, now I'm getting a little tricky. Okay, now I'm going to say 0, -4. Let's do a different color. 0, -4. I know you're thinking, I'm just doing it. I'm going with that. Use what you know. Pause it. Try and figure it out. It's weird not giving like think time like I would normally do because you guys can just pause it, but it feels like wrong to go that fast. So pause it when you need it. That's my intentions here, okay? I don't expect you to go as fast as I'm talking. I expect you guys to pause, play, that kind of thing, okay? So 0, 4, -4, I'm sorry, 0, -4. I'm starting at my home. Where am I walking to? It's telling me to walk to 0. I'm at 0. This is telling me, girl, you don't gotta walk anywhere. You're already there. Okay, what that means is the elevator is in my house. How exciting. What that means, I don't have to walk anywhere. I am walking 0 steps. I am staying there. And then I am taking the elevator down to the -4th floor. So I'm staying here and then I'm going down. And that is where your point should be. If you got that, you should be very proud of yourself because that was me trying to trick you. I'm going to give you another one. Try and trick you again. This time I'm going to say, where's my green? I am going to say 5, 0. 5, 0. Pause it, try it. See where you end up. All right, welcome. So I'm at my house, right? And I have to walk to 5, okay? I'm walking +5, and it's telling me I don't have to take the elevator anywhere. I'm already at my destination. So my dot would stay right here. This is 5, 0. Again, that's my tricky one. So if you got it, give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself a round of applause. Okay, this got a little funky in my erasing, but I'm going to do one final exercise with you. I'm hoping that this is a short lesson, but I don't really know how long I've been recording for, to be honest with you. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to give you a coordinate, and you are going to tell me what quadrant it would be in. Galt it. So we're going to go through this quickly, so you're just going to be pausing. Remember that, pausing. Don't try and get the answer before I tell you the answer. You got to pause it. Okay? First quadrant. First coordinate. 4, 2. Pause. All right, what quadrant did you get? Remember when we're labeling our quadrant, this is quadrant 1. This is quadrant 2, which is those two eyes. This is quadrant 3. And this is quadrant 4, which is Ivy. Okay? So, I already forgot what I said. BRB, hang on. Okay, rewatched. All is good. I said 4, 2. If that is that is my coordinate, I would go over 4 up 2, which means your answer should have been quadrant 1. Okay, next one. Let's say -7, -4. Pause it. Welcome back. -7, -4. If you're starting at home, you're walking to the left 7. That's not on there. That's a trick. But you should know that -7 comes after -6. And then -4, I'm going down, which means that your answer should have been quadrant 3. It would be somewhere like down there. Got it? All right, next one. I'm going to say -2, 6. Pause. All right, -2, 6. I'm starting at home. I'm going to the left 2. I'm walking to -2, going up 6. Your answer should have been quadrant 2. All right, last one. Let's say 4, -4. 4, -4. Pause it. All right, if you're starting here, you should have walked to 4, then gone down 4. So your answer should have been quadrant 4. All right, this is a trick one. All right, here you go. What quadrant is 0, 5 in? I haven't taught you that yet. Here's your answer, 0, 5. If I'm saying 0, 5, that means I'm not walking anywhere. I'm just taking my elevator up to the 5th floor. What that means is that is on the y-axis. I'm not in any particular quadrant here. I'm just on an axis. So since I'm on that up and down axis, I am on the y-axis. Now, what if I said that my coordinate was 5, 0. Okay, what that means is that I started at home, I walked to 5, and I didn't have to take my elevator anywhere. I ended up right here, which means I'm just on my x-axis. You see that? You see that? So there's really kind of 7 answers, because if I said 0, 0, where is that? The origin, okay? The answer there would be the origin. So your answers can be quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4. X-axis, y-axis, origin. A lot to remember, but you got it. You've got the skills necessary. I'm going to link to, the pictures. I think that those are a fun way to practice your skills because it's so easy to tell if you did something wrong. How you tell if you did something wrong is if it's supposed to be a picture of a bunny and it looks like a scribble. Okay, so I'm going to link you guys to a website that you guys can access those pictures where it's like the graphing pictures and you guys can practice them. But if you don't have a printer, yeah, it's a little trickier. If you don't have a printer, I'll figure something else out. I'll find a different worksheet, okay? But if you do, graph. Got it. Thank you guys for sticking with me here and sticking with me as I'm learning a whole new way of teaching math. Again, I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope you guys are learning. But if you have any questions, concerns, comments, anything at all, if there's something that you need to tell me that like, hey, this is something I really need a video on. If you're telling me like, hey, this is something that you could do better in your videos, feel free to comment, message me, anything, reach out to me in any way. I miss you guys. Stay safe. Bye.